When it comes to the fitness industry, there are, oh man, so many ripoffs out there. And what I mean by that is programs, pills, diets that promise the freaking world. But guess what? They don't deliver. And we're talking all about that today and how not to fall into that trap and what to do instead. So strap in and get ready for episode 105. Let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody. I will be your host today. And before we dive into today's interview, if you have not, then head on over to bonestobulk.com. I have a free video training up. You'll see it right there on the main page. You can't miss it. Sign up for it. All you got to do is put in your email address. It's delivered to your inbox, and it's literally me sitting down in a video talking about the 3 things that I wish I had known when I started this journey, because dang, it would have been a whole lot easier. So with that being said, let's dive into today's episode. You've probably seen the commercials of a fitness product at one point or another. Maybe it's a diet, maybe it's a piece of equipment, maybe it's some kind of thermogenic pill or weight loss supplement, or there's just a million and one different fitness products out there, and they all promise so much. They promise the world and so much more. But guess what? They don't deliver. You know why? Because they feed off of our natural instinct to want change now. You know, when we decide that we want to have muscles, when we decide that we want to gain mass, guess what? We want it to happen super quick. We don't want to wait months or years. We want it instant. We want it in weeks. You know, we want to be able to be popping out of our shirts and lifting huge amounts of weight in just a very short amount of time. And these commercials and advertisements, they feed into that because they would have you believe that you can do that. And they show these ripped and shredded people who are taking these things and on these machines. Well, guess what? Those people have been working out and eating right for years. They didn't jump on those machines, and they're paid, hired actors to do that stuff. So don't buy into any of the hype that a diet, that a pill, that a piece of equipment can change your fitness life, because it can't. But do you know what can? Because guess what? The good news is you don't have to put out money for some fly-by-night product. The good news is it really just takes some work, dedication, and building healthy habits. Because putting on lean muscle mass, it's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to have your absolute perfect macros in order and be eating, down to the percentage, the right amount of carbohydrates and fats and protein. You don't have to have all that stuff perfect. You don't have to, do the magic 5x5s or, hit 15 reps instead of 14 and all of a sudden you're going to magically be where you want to be. Like, it's not about those things. It's about building a solid foundation of how to eat healthy. It's building a solid foundation of how you lift and making sure that you're focusing more about time under tension, your form, the speed of your reps, rather than how much can I get up on a 1 rep max. And it's easy to fall into those mindsets of, the quick way out, or what we've seen demonstrated in advertisements or movies or whatever, because again, there's so much false information. And we see these movie actors and people who get in incredible shape and change their entire body composition. And first off, we think it's overnight for them when it's not. Like, they spend months to a year getting ready for roles. And that's with that being like their job. Like, their job is to get in shape for a role. So they spend hours and hours a day. They have personal trainers. They have nutritionists. Like, they have everything that can be of aid to them. And it still takes them a long time to change. And so if you're working on this yourself and you don't have a trainer, you don't have a nutritionist, you don't have 5 hours to spend in the gym and prepping food each day, then guess what? It's going to be harder. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means it may take a little bit more time, and that's okay because we have time. We do. A year is going to go by whether you start making changes today or not. So, that's kind of inevitable. So why not start today? If it takes you a year, it takes you a year. Guess what? In a year, you'll be able to look back and be, man, I'm so glad that I started when I did. I'm so glad that I took the step, started making those changes, and didn't keep procrastinating, because in reality, a year flies by. And I tell you what, time goes quick, but I feel like as a parent, it goes even quicker. I don't know how the crap my kids are as big as they are or growing or know as much as they do. It's just like, wow, when did you freaking grow up? It's crazy. It truly is. And so, my biggest hope for you to take out of this is don't give in to the hype. There's so many, detoxes are huge right now. Oh my gosh, if I see another detox, take freaking apple cider vinegar and you're magically going to turn into this fit person. What? I'm not saying it doesn't have any health benefits at all, but the idea of just taking a capful of that a day and it magically transforming you, where did we get that concept? Where did we buy into that shit? Because it's just not the way things work. It's not. And I'm not saying that certain things like that aren't beneficial, but in the big picture of things, it's minute, and it's not going to burn fat off you or anything. And so, while we're on the topic of myths, the whole myth of you can eat too little calories and it's going to cause you to maintain fat. Where the crap did that one come from? For real. Let me get this straight. If I'm in a huge deficit, my body's going to store fat and keep me from losing weight? No. It doesn't work that way. So there's so many false things out there, and sadly, so many false things that are taught in the fitness world. And so my biggest goal is to dispel some of those and just help you to realize, it's not magic. It's not. Start getting your nutrition intake under control. Start calculating calories and making sure you're eating enough to put on muscle mass. Make sure you're getting it from good, clean sources. Don't eat junk. And work out hard at least 4 times a week. That's it. That's the building blocks for gaining muscle mass. And sure, other things are going to come into effect. Supplements are going to come into effect. And small tweaks are going to come into effect. The further along you get, the more progression you make, you're absolutely going to need to implement more things. But that is the solid backbone of what you need to be doing. And it's no more than that. It's not. It doesn't have to be as complicated as people make it out to be, or as tricky, or you don't have to spend a gazillion dollars on freaking magic pills that don't do anything. So I hope this encourages you, just if you've been struggling with, well, what do I do? Do I need this? Do I need that? You don't. Get your nutrition under control, work out regularly, you're going to start seeing results. And if you want further guidance, if you need something to guide you and build that solid foundation for you, you can head on over to bonestobulk.com, click on training programs, and I have different training programs available, complete workouts, complete meal plans, everything laid out so you don't have to guess, and it sets you up for a solid foundation so that you're not scrambling when it ends, because it's teaching you how to think about food and how to work out so that you can build on it and carry that with you. It's not something you do for 30 days and then quit and go back to no, it's building that solid foundation. So you can find that at bonestobulk.com. Again, click on training programs. All right, so remember, no matter what anybody told you, what walls you're hitting, what trials you're running up against, what false advertisements are being thrown at you, you can accomplish your fitness goals. You've got this.